The origin of Anglicanism in Nigeria. Introduction. Hello and welcome, dear friends. This is Christians' Faith Origins and Stories. On today's journey, we are diving into the fascinating story of how Anglicanism came to Nigeria, how it grew, and how it shaped an entire nation. From the colonial encounters of the 19th century to the rise of great African church leaders like Bishop Samuel Ajayi Crowther, this is not just the history of a church, it is the story of how faith, culture, education, and identity came together to transform Nigeria. So, join me as we walk through the origin of Anglicanism in Nigeria in chapters. Chapter 1. The Global Origin of Anglicanism. Anglicanism is one of the major Christian traditions in the world today, but its roots go back to England in the 16th century. The English Reformation, led by King Henry VIII in 1534, broke ties with the Roman Catholic Church, creating a new tradition, the Church of England. This church combined elements of Catholic liturgy with Protestant theology, making Anglicanism unique. From England, Anglicanism spread wherever the British went: America, the Caribbean, Asia, and Africa. But Anglicanism wasn't just carried by colonial powers, it was also spread by missionary organizations such as the Church Missionary Society, CMS, founded in 1799. Chapter 2. The Arrival of Christianity in West Africa. Before Anglicanism reached Nigeria, Christianity had already touched West Africa. The Portuguese brought Catholic missionaries as early as the 15th century, especially along the coastlines of present-day Nigeria and Ghana. But their efforts faded over time, mainly because they were closely tied to the slave trade and lacked long-term structures. By the 18th century, however, another movement brought Christianity back: freed slaves. Africans who were captured, sold into slavery, and later freed often encountered Christianity in the Americas or in Britain. When they returned, they became powerful agents of faith. Chapter 3. The Sierra Leone Connection. The most important gateway of Anglicanism into Nigeria was Sierra Leone. After Britain abolished the slave trade in 1807, many freed slaves were resettled in Freetown. Missionaries of the Church Missionary Society, CMS, worked tirelessly among these freed slaves. Over time, Sierra Leone became a training ground for African clergy, teachers, and catechists. From Sierra Leone, Christianity, and specifically Anglicanism, spread into Nigeria. Many of the earliest evangelists in Nigeria were not Europeans, but African returnees and Sierra Leonean catechists. Chapter 4. The Coming of the CMS to Nigeria. The true beginning of Anglicanism in Nigeria can be traced to 1842, when Reverend Henry Townsend, of the CMS, and Reverend Birch Freeman, of the Methodist Mission, arrived in Badagry, a coastal town in present-day Lagos State. On December 24, 1842, the first Anglican worship service was held under a tree in Badagry. This was the seed that grew into one of the largest Anglican communities in the world. From Badagry, the missionaries moved inland to Abeokuta, and later, Lagos became a key Anglican center. The CMS also established schools alongside churches, believing that education was the best way to spread the gospel. Chapter 5. The Role of African Missionaries. One of the most remarkable features of Anglicanism in Nigeria was the leadership of Africans themselves. Unlike other mission efforts dominated by Europeans, many Nigerians played a key role in spreading Anglicanism. The greatest of these figures was Samuel Ajayi Crowther. Kidnapped as a boy and sold into slavery, Crowther was later freed by the British Navy and taken to Sierra Leone. There, he was converted, educated, and later became a missionary. In 1864, Crowther was consecrated the first African Anglican bishop. He translated the Bible into Yoruba, wrote primers for Igbo and Nupe languages, and traveled deep into the Niger region to plant churches. His work ensured that Anglicanism was not just an imported religion but one that spoke in the languages of the Nigerian people. Chapter 6. Early Church Growth and Struggles. The Anglican Church grew quickly in southwestern and southeastern Nigeria, but the journey was not smooth. Missionaries often faced resistance from traditional religious leaders who saw Christianity as a threat to their authority. In some places, churches were attacked, and converts were rejected by their families. Linguistic challenges also slowed progress. Translating scripture, hymns, and prayers into local languages required enormous effort. Yet, once local languages were embraced, the church began to flourish. The CMS also invested heavily in medical missions. Early hospitals and dispensaries helped gain the trust of the local population. Chapter 7: Anglicanism and Education in Nigeria. Perhaps the most powerful tool of Anglicanism in Nigeria was education. In 1859, the CMS founded CMS Grammar School in Lagos, the first secondary school in Nigeria. Anglican schools trained the first generation of Nigeria's educated elite, men and women who would later become leaders in politics, medicine, law, and journalism. The church's emphasis on literacy allowed Nigerians to read the Bible in their own languages, giving Anglicanism a firm foundation among the educated. Chapter 8: Conflicts and Independence Movement within the Church. Despite its success, Anglicanism in Nigeria was not without internal struggles. Many African clergy, including Bishop Crowther, were sidelined by European missionaries who doubted African leadership abilities. After Crowther's death in 1891, there was an attempt to reverse his achievements by replacing African clergy with Europeans. This led to tension and dissatisfaction, as Africans demanded self-governance within the church. These conflicts mirrored the larger political struggle for Nigerian independence from British colonial rule. Chapter 9: The Birth of the Church of Nigeria, Anglican Communion. By the mid-20th century, the call for independence within the church had grown too strong to ignore. In 1979, the Church of Nigeria, Anglican Communion, was formally established, becoming autonomous from the Church of England. The Most Reverend Timothy Ayefosoi was elected as the first primate of all Nigeria. This was a historic milestone. The Nigerian Anglican Church was now fully self-governed, led by Nigerians for Nigerians. Chapter 10: Expansion and Modern Growth. Today, the Church of Nigeria is one of the largest Anglican provinces in the world, with over 20 million members. It has more than 170 dioceses spread across all parts of the country. Anglican universities, seminaries, hospitals, and schools continue to shape Nigerian society. The Church also plays a major role in global Anglican affairs, often standing as a strong voice for African perspectives on theology and morality. Chapter 11: Impact on Nigerian Society and Culture. The Anglican Church influenced not just faith, but Nigerian culture and society. Education, producing generations of Nigerian leaders. Politics, many early nationalists had Anglican missionary backgrounds. Music, Nigerian Anglican choirs blend Western hymns with African rhythms. Language, translation of the Bible shaped modern Yoruba, Igbo, and Hausa literacy. Through these contributions, Anglicanism became not just a church, but a cultural force in Nigerian history. Chapter 12: The Legacy and Future of Anglicanism in Nigeria. From a small outdoor service in Badagry to one of the most powerful religious institutions in Africa, the journey of Anglicanism in Nigeria is truly remarkable. Its legacy is seen in schools, hospitals, churches, and in the lives of millions of Nigerians. Looking ahead, the church faces new challenges. How to reach the younger generation. How to adapt to digital and online worship. How to remain a strong moral voice in a fast-changing society. And so, the story of Anglicanism in Nigeria is not just about religion, but about transformation. It is about resilience, identity, and the power of faith. The Anglican Church has shaped Nigeria's past, it defines much of the present, and it will continue to influence the future. Conclusion. Thank you for watching Christians' Faith Origins and Stories and joining me on this historical journey into the origin of Anglicanism in Nigeria. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button, share it with friends, and subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into history, culture, and faith. Until next time, stay blessed and keep learning.